such an honor that the family let us come and host this wonderful event for Richard. So we just want to thank the family for, you know, keeping us in mind and allowing us to share our love with the family.
Yes, and we're students of this blessed chord. Just a little brief history. I went to Grape Street Elementary. I went to Markham Junior High, and I went to Jordan High School. Richard went to Jordan Junior High School. I didn't go to Jordan Junior High School. So, with that being said, the Watts Prophets, Richard, as always, we held them in the highest of regards. So coming up at Grape Street Elementary, I would hear some of their music, especially that Rapper Black in the White World. My uncle would sneak me that. My mother would, boy, what you listening to? So I would have to hide it. Indeed. So now I do not have to hide anymore. I'm totally out the closet with it.
Yes, and then we also have to just give it up for Mavericks Flat.
Yes.
Yes, we want to thank them for allowing us to be here today. Yes. But also, this is the place where the Watts Prophets really got their first run.
Yes, their first run. 1971, they had something like a 16-week gig here.
Yes.
Right here?
Right.
On this stage?
On this stage. And Shirley was...
By the way, Dedeaux McNeil, who's here, where's she at? She was with us.
Yeah, Dedeaux McNeil was in here. Put your hands together for Dedeaux McNeil. There she is. Yes.
And Mama Shirley was reminding us how the floor used to rotate. It used to turn in a circle. So just imagine getting your groove on in the middle of the dance floor that's turning in a circle. Don't have no drinks, right?
So what we would like to do right now is usher us into this moment. It's really, really important so we all could know the significance of this moment. So we like to usher us, all of us, into this moment.
Yes. So first we want to start by, if we could just close our eyes for a moment. And we like to start with breathing. We want to make sure that we're all breathing properly because sometimes we just forget to breathe. And if we remember to breathe in through our nose so that we can get oxygen to our brain.
Yes.
And breathe out through our mouths. Again, breathe in through your nose. And out through your mouth. And since 3 is a powerful number, we'll do it one more time and rotate ourselves into the number 3. In through your nose. And out through your mouth.
And with our eyes still closed, we would like to give thanks for this moment. We would like to give thanks for Richard Dedeaux, his legacy, his life. We would like to celebrate him today, this day, December 21st, which is the equinox. It's a very special time, everyone. The moments do not have no beginnings or no end. They just is. So we reverence in the isness of this moment and give thanks for all of Richard's family, friends, the prophets, everyone that came out here to celebrate his most deserved tribute. And in agreement, we would like to ask that all energies that's not in line with this divine alignment to just be removed, because this is pure. And we all in agreement, so we'll say Ashe together. Ashe. Give thanks. Thank you.
Ooh. I almost had a dream. I was eyes was closed for too long. I'm a little dizzy.
Yes, to just open us up. And this brother right here, he's a Leimert Park legend. He's played with the Watts Prophets many, many moons. And with that being said, it's so fitting that he's here to share one of Richard's favorite songs. I want y'all to give it a real big for Wadada.
I'd like to send vibrations out to the family, to the Watts Prophets. I also had an opportunity to perform with the Watts Prophets. We did a gig years ago at the House of Blues. And God bless Richard and God bless everyone that's here.
There's too many of me. shoulders, y'all. My name is Wadada Ilugu. Sean on.
Y'all enjoying yourselves so far? Of course you are. We are here to celebrate, so make sure you celebrate and get that drink in your hand.
Put something on your stomach first, please, before you put a drink in your stomach.
Or the floor will be rotating and you don't know why.
Right. What she said. So, at this time, we would like to share something with you, just to bring this beautiful event in its proper context for who we're celebrating, for who we're paying tribute to. Richard Dedeaux, actor, screenwriter, author, and poet, co-produced the KCET TV series Doing It at the Storefront in 1976. Who remember Doing It at the Storefront? Yeah. Well, I was, I think I was in my mommy's stomach, but still. Doing It at the Storefront. He also produced the Image Award-nominated film Victory Would Be My Mom. Richard and the Watts Prophets have received many awards over the last 4 decades for their work with risk youth all over the world. Awards include the City of Los Angeles, State of California Certificate of Appreciation, the inaugural Leimert Park Book Fair for extraordinary contributions to their literary legacy of Los Angeles. Bernard C. Parks, Council Member, 8th District, Jan Perry, Councilwoman, 9th District, and Herb J. Weston Jr., Council Member, 10th District. Certificates and awards from California State Assembly, County of Los Angeles, U.S. House of Representatives, Los Angeles Mayor Richard Redden, Nate Holden, James Caan, and also the City of Los Angeles the City of Los Angeles has recently named the Watts Prophets Los Angeles Treasures. And their work is recently placed at the Getty and the Smithsonian Museum. Richard has authored over 7 books, countless screenplays, and a stellar musical catalog. On February 24, 2012, we had the distinct pleasure over at Still Waters to celebrate Richard and all the members of the Watts Writers Workshop. We also honored Ojinki that evening. Wasn't that beautiful, my love?
Yes, it was. It was a whole lot of fun.
It was a whole lot of fun.
We have a lot of people in this audience right now that could attest to that.
Yes, and that night the Watts Prophets performed, they presented, and we didn't realize that would be their final show, performing all together, and it was, and they were hitting on all cylinders.
We like to say that they in their 70s, but they sound like they still in the 70s. Indeed.
So, also at this time, we would like to bring up one of Richard's dear family members to just bring us up to speed with some of his childhood memories and all that good stuff. From New Orleans to Watts. He came from New Orleans to Watts. How many people from New Orleans in here? Make some noise. See?
How many people from Watts in here? Make some noise.
Watts. Okay, so it's a mixture. So
before we bring up this special family member to come and speak, we want to also make notice of all of the pictures that we have around here right now. The good sister Sylvia. Can you guys put your hands together for Sylvia?
Can you stand up, Sylvia? Yes. Stand up. Yes. Thank you, Sylvia.
Yes. Amazing artist. Make sure you check out more of her work, and the hats and the mask and all of that beautiful stuff was made by Sister Brenda Dedeaux. So we have some amazing people in this family right here. And then too, we also want to make a mention of, we want to apologize in advance for those who didn't get the memo of no children being allowed in here. So we want to apologize in advance if you came out and you brought your child and they weren't able to stay. So we just think that you would are very thankful that you would even think to come out and celebrate this moment with us. Yes.
Indeed. So I guess this is our perfect segue to our next speaker. So I want y'all to put your hands together for Richard's dear family member, Miss Brenda Dedeaux.
Me, Lord? We're first cousins, but more like sisters and brothers. It was in New Orleans, it was me, my twin sister Barbara, his cousin Flo from Slidell, Wayne, his brother, and Richard. And we were always together. We were always going somewhere in New Orleans, doing something together. And later in life, when I moved back to New Orleans, he called me his road dog because we did everything together. And I just want you guys to know he was happy at the end. He took very good care of him, and I love him, and I know everybody in here love him. And that's really all I have to say. He was a fun person as a child. You know, he was a good person as an adult. And I miss him a lot. And I know you guys do too. But you know, he was just Richard till the end. You know, he was funny. He called me Nurse Ratchet. And then at the end, he called us his angels. You know, so I went from Nurse Ratchet to be an angel, which was great for me. So anyway, you guys, I'm glad all of you came out, and I'm going to get off the stage right now. Thank you.
So at this time, we would like to ask that Richard's granddaughter come to the stage, Miss Monzel Dedeaux. Monzel,
Yes,
yeah, put your hands together for her.
Richard's granddaughter, I am Stephen's daughter, his oldest son's daughter, and I have to write what I was going to say because I can't talk about him without crying, and I can't think too much. Richard, I know him as Tat, who refused to be called granddaddy or grandfather. He was too cool for that. So we got to call him Tat. My father got to call him Tat. So when I refer to him, I'm going to say my Tat. That's okay with all of you guys. When I was about 2 years old, my father was sentenced to 10 years in prison, and Tat moved in with us. He moved in with his son's wife to make sure that we didn't go fatherless. He lived with us on and off for about 6 years, and one of my fondest memories of him was when I was in elementary. We went to Bonneview out in Ontario, and we must have been the only black kids there because when my mother, who was about 4 shades darker than me, went to go pick up my sister, she was about the shade of my grandfather. They told her she didn't have any kids in the school. And for me, I guess because I had a little more tint in my skin, they put me in an all Spanish class, all Spanish speaking class. So my grandfather, he took that as an opportunity to get more involved in our education, our school, and he started helping us with our projects. And one of my fondest memories is when he came and did a puppet show for my class. I was so proud. I don't even know what the puppet show was about, but I was so happy and proud that my grandfather was doing this puppet show, wowing all of my fellow students. And so just what I'd like to say about my grandfather, my Tat, is he was a man of action. In that situation, he could have pushed my mother to put us in a different school, or fussed at her for putting us in the school in the first place, but he took action. He didn't say anything, he just did it. He came to our school and got more involved, and he understood that it was important for us to be comfortable in any environment. He was a balanced man. He was very gentle, yet his backbone was very strong. When I think of him, I see a strong tree whose roots are deeply grounded and whose core is strong, yet the leaves, the part that falls on other people, falls gently. Tat believed strongly and he loved deeply. He dreamed, yet he stayed very much in touch with reality. When he left, there was a profound strength that left with him. So when I cry and when I mourn for him, I don't just cry or mourn as a granddaughter that lost her grandfather. I cry and I mourn as a woman who sees that there was a strength that left this earth, and I can't see another strength that can replace it. Yeah, thank you all. My father wanted me to thank you.
So at this time, we would like to play a short tribute. The Mavericks Flat, the good brother. He's not here. Let me make sure that he's one of the original members of the Watts Prophets. We would really like for them both to come up together. And this is a real special moment because Father MD and Otis O'Solomon is in the building, and they will be here to speak about their beloved brother, Richard Dedeaux. Put your hands together for Father MD and Otis O'Solomon.
I bet you do.
You know, and being here tonight at this location, I can recall when this was like one of our first major professional gigs. We started at the Watts Rights Workshop. There was a gentleman by the name of Cassius Weatherby who saw that we was hanging out together. He said, "You guys always seem to be together." He said, "Why don't y'all go out as a group?" Because they were sending tours out from the Watts Rights Workshop, but they all went out individually. And so we became a group. And our first experience, we went to Inner City Culture Center on a talent show, and we won second place. And Cassius, he said, "I got a friend of mine who's got a club," and his friend was John Daniels, who at that time owned Mavericks Flat. And he said he'll let us come in for a weekend. And we came in for that weekend that went on for about 4 to 6 months. We got a chance to perform at the opening for Richard Pryor.
Funkadelic, it just goes on and on. And whoever came through this club and everybody, this was like the Apollo of the West. This was really one of the first discos in the United States. It doesn't get credit for it, but it really was.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
John Daniel was really way ahead. Like they had the club in New York, it was Disco 52, 54.
Club 54.
Club 54. But John was way ahead at that time because he had movies in the ceiling, lights all over here, different things going on simultaneously. And this was a place where a lot of the elite black entertainers hung out at that time.
And what's so wonderful about it, the people that are here today, we have all the way from students. There's a student here that was a young girl at Fremont, and I ain't gonna tell her age now, but it's close to 50.
62.
62, yeah.
That was a student at Fremont High School. And then there's Oliver Morgan, our first manager. That's sister right there. And then there's Dave Lumian, our manager, up until we stopped working together. Then there's so many faces that I see. Dee McNeil. You can't say Watts Prophets and don't say Dee.
Dee was an original of the Watts Prophets at that time when we was performing here at Mavericks Flat.
And each member brought a different thing. Dee brought music to the group. Richard brought drama. He brought his writing. He was also an accomplished actor, a lot of people don't know. That sort of brought the drama to the group.
And when they mentioned about Black in the White World, Black in the White World was a song that Dee had written for a play that was written by Harry Dolan entitled The Iron Hand of Nat Turner. And Black in the White World became the
Theme.
The title of our first album. And he had a photograph of my son on the cover with a big army jacket, oversized army jacket on it. And another thing that happened when we was here, we was young, we was excited, and I remember we had done a show. We had been here about 2 weeks, and we went outside after the show. We were sitting in the lobby talking about the show, and about 25 or 30 people came up and said they came to see the Watts Prophets. And we was like, and John's wife at that time, who was handling the weather, she told him, said, "You just missed the Watts Prophets. They just went over." And they turned around and walked out. And we looked at each other. So from then we started doing 2 shows a night. And on Sundays.
And anytime you ask us. This is little Richard. Or somebody said something about how cool he was, his granddaughter. Creole with soul.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just me. That handsome, good-looking, curly-haired, light-skinned guy. The ladies know I'm fly. When I cruise by and they just be giving me the eye on the slide. Curious about me while trying to see if my fair color shade has gone to my head. Forgetting that I too arrived here in chains. Grew up in the ghetto under segregation's painful shame. Yeah, it's just me. That handsome, good-looking, smooth-talking, and curly-headed, light-skinned guy with a heart as black as our revolutionary sisters and brothers, because blackness comes in many colors.
Many colors. What color is black?
In this book, if you get a chance to get it, he talked all about his death. And he always talked about his mother.
Yes.
Ode to Mama. Once so very long ago in my mischievous blind youth, I drew my mother's wrath. In a fit of anger she warned, one of these days you're going to look for me with a candlelight.
Yes.
Since her passing, I've never stopped searching. Will you grieve for me when I'm gone?
Will you?
Or follow in my foolish footsteps?
Will you grieve for me?
Maybe you might cry saying, do neither on my behalf, because death is an individual thing.
Yes.
So little time, so much to do. Will I run out of time before I'm through? I'm working day and night to get all my ducks in line. I've wasted so much time. I've fallen way behind. Making everything easy for after I'm gone. My whole life work is at stake. Can't take a chance on fate. What I have to do can't wait. This is if it's not already too late. Now I'm not saying that anything's wrong. I feel great. But then men a lot healthier than I, for no reason just up and die. Leaving relatives to sift through their work, reading their past, most of which I guarantee will wind up in the trash. So I'm taking the time to pen these few lines, to let you know I'm not planning to go, but you never know. Although if it's so, take this treasure to the bank, but first stop to think. Your best course after I'm gone, you're on your own. Use your head, don't get played.
Right on.
Yes. I'm going to close this out with a poem that was written by myself many years ago, and I think it's applicable for the occasion. It says, while here on earth we toil relentlessly for the jeweler of the soul, and both night and day through deeds we stream the beads of life. But if on life necklace one pearl we can behold, of such essence it reduces mankind's strife, then it matters not if with 1,000 worthless bead life necklace is strung, for the worth of the whole shall be determined by each bead. And the appraiser of life, ignoring blinding regrets, will see the total values of our work, and knowing which values be, will gently place it around the neck of immortality, which is done for Richard. Thank you.
Yeah, one more. If I were to live for 100 years more, I I would try and undo all the injustices I've been forced to endure. None of which can be deemed fair.
Can be deemed.
That's why in the 21st century, we get our equal share. Although I know that death's cruel hand will not allow me any extra time, I just can't help question 100 years from now.
Why?
As it takes age to make one wise, it takes young, bold generations to try things wise. Men dare not try. I'm not talking about getting high. My time on earth is short. Yes, I know. I've reached my peak. Now I've got to take it slow. Then people ask, well, where you go? Heaven or hell? I can't really say. But if it's up to me, I'll choose whichever one that will allow me to be equal and free.
Yes.
Put your hands together for the wonderful Miss Dedeaux McNeil.
Isn't this a wonderful, full of love celebration? My favorite memory of Richard was I had 2 small children at that time, Mac and Marisa, and we were living in Hollywood because I was writing music for Motown. And I took in a roommate, and that roommate moved in her brothers. They came to visit us one day, and then they said, we're just going to spend the night tonight, and we're going to go back tomorrow. And then next day came, and next day, and next day. And pretty soon there was a lot of people in my house. Not just the 2 brothers. It was their dogs and their girlfriends and their cousins. And so I had to move. And so they got me in a lot of trouble. I mean, the helicopters came overhead and they put the light on the house. So I called up Richard and Tony and I said, the helicopter, because I had just got here from Detroit. I had only been in LA a short while. I said, the police and the helicopters and everything are over the house. He says, oh, Dee, you got to move. You got to move. LAPD don't play. So I said, well, what can I do? You know, I can't just move because I just paid the rent. And they said, you got to move. So Richard said, you can come stay with me. So he had a house behind Brenda's house, his cousin Brenda that spoke, and Wayne. And it was like a tiny little house. So here come me and my 2 kids and my Horner electric piano and the TV set. So the kids would sit on the couch. It was just like as big as this stage. That was it. And the kids would sit on the couch and look at TV and cartoons, and I'd be playing the piano and writing a song. And Richard would be sitting at the typewriter, not a computer, typewriter, typing with 2 fingers and writing. And so that is my warmest memory of Richard. We stayed there a month so I could save my dough so I could get an apartment. But God bless him. He took me in and always was a gentleman and was sweet to my kids. And I loved Brenda. It was so good to see you, Brenda. I haven't seen you in like 30 years. Wow. Daybreak will find me down on my knees, a slave to my job. Oh Lord, we've got to be free. Come on, Tony and Otis. A baby is born. And what's his destiny? If he's black in a white world. What's the word? See what happens? When will we gain the freedom that we seek? Must we remain
we remain
a slave to this thief.
a slave to this thief.
My child is born.
My child is born.
But what's his destiny?
But what's his destiny?
If he's black
Black
in a white world.
in a white world.
Sometimes I cry.
Sometimes
But what good will it do?
but what good will it do?
Ain't I been told
And I've been told
to my own
Yeah.
self be true?
to my own self be true.
My child is born.
My child is born.
But what's he gonna do
What's he gonna do?
if he's black
Black
in a white world?
in a white world.
That's how we used to do it. Thank you everyone for making me a part of it.
Dee really, Dee came from Motown when she came to us, so she brought a lot to the group. And you see now how they are, I see, well, they've been doing it for quite a while now, but how they mix music and rap and all that, I think she was the first one to do that.
I think we were the first ones. Our album was called Rappin', Black in a White World. We were the first ones to call it rap. And Anthony, I gotta tell you guys this. We were Mary Flats. We didn't have microphones. We were on the floor where you all are sitting. And you know how rappers are always like walking all around, grabbing their stuff and everything. We were moving around too, but we were like moving around to explore the poetry. And Anthony had this thing about wigs. Do you remember that poem? And the women, the young girls used to take their wigs off when he finished and throw them on the stage.
No, but they beat me up too. One girl came up, don't you remember that night? I said, big sisters and wigs and homemade eyelashes, what's your trip? You say you black and you proud when you in a crowd.
When you're in a crowd.
But when you're home alone, many false things you put on.
False.
Fire to the brain and glue to the eyes. What's your thing?
What's your thing?
You ashamed of what you had when you came? Bam, a wig hit me. She had a cool sister too. Her hair was all the way, and she said, I'm just as black as you and yeah, she had a natural. we had, but Dee did a lot of things too. See, all of us did those. Hollywood niggas.
I had a poem called Hollywood Niggas, so Jim Brown walks in that night. Watch out now. I ain't mad at Jim Brown, but Jim came in with the white girl on both arms. And he came in right when I was talking about Hollywood niggas. And everybody, and everybody in the audience went, ooh, and pointed. So after the show, he came up to me and he said, you'll never make it in the industry.
And canceled our show
the
next week with the...
we got a lot of backlash for being black and brown.
Black folks.
He said, you'll never make it in the industry. Oh well.
But people talk that, we wish we would have made some money. But we still got a shot at that. But what I want to say, that word rap, they rapping all over this earth. I seen the Chinese man. You can't go nowhere on earth where they're not rapping today. So we were successful in pushing that form of art.
Hip-hop. We were the beginning hip-hop on the West Coast. Rapping black, rapping black, rapping black, rapping black, rapping black, rapping black.
Yeah, I remember once. I sat in that hunger and I empty pot. A place where winos and have-nots took their trips. Pawn shops on 103rd and other spots.
On 103rd.
Yeah, I remember why.
I remember.
With eyes set in hunger and an empty pot. Yeah, and I remember good old Jordan High School. Yeah, they didn't teach me much, but it was cool. It gave me something to do, a place to go. Because I hated the conditions in Watts. And fell trapped and couldn't stay. I was so glad when I the way.
Ooh, I was so glad.
Over the hill. And I remember why. Yeah, but it's something you gotta know.
What?
It doesn't matter where you go.
Yeah.
If you pose, they all ghetto. I'm talking about the barrio, the ghetto.
The barrio, the ghetto.
They're all the same.
Detroit, Brooklyn.
All right.
I am full.
Yes.
I'm
We can
full.
start the show right now.
Right.
You know.
So
But we not. We gonna keep.
we're not. So but before we move any further, we would just like to acknowledge Baba Ross, poet Ojinki, that just came in. Can y'all give him a round of applause? Yeah, indeed. Indeed. Yes. So,
It's only fitting now that if there are a few family members that would like to share a few words, that you know, we would love to give you that opportunity. This is the thing, though. We're gonna do this like it's at church, but we're not at church. We just feel like it, right? 2 minutes. If we can keep our comments limited to 2 minutes, then that would be excellent. So you know, it gives us enough time for a few people to share.
yeah, so first I would like to put on the spot where they could start the expressions is the beautiful Sylvia Woolridge. And this is all of her artwork, everyone, that she's painted right here. So can y'all give her a really big round of applause for blessing this event, and Richard?
I just want to say a couple of things. I want to thank Richard for the last 15 years of his life I got to spend with him, and also for introducing me to most and all of you.
My name's Star Gilliard, and Richard was my cousin. One of the funniest things about Richard, I remember one night, well, we had drank and done a few things. And we were at his place, and he started telling me this story. I mean, to where I was like, where am I? Where have I gone? Him in Richard's world. It's all, and he just went on and on and on and on. And I was sitting there, fell asleep, woke back up, he was still going on and on and on. I was like, Richard, wow, that is some hell of a story. What are you going to do with it? He goes, I don't know, it's just in my head. So he was that kind of a guy. He had a lot of charisma, and the women loved him. Y'all know that, don't you?
Poured in my own rights, and I love Richard and the Watts Prophet, but I wanted to give this shout out for one of my producers, friend from college that really produced one of the last shows that at Akanos, Craig Webb. A Phil Short vibe, a producer more like Etta James, Gil Scott Aaron, and Taj Mahal. He said, to my brethren, Craig Webb, this is what Richard wrote to him. My friend and a man who puts words into actions. Thank you for following us. Richard Dedeaux, 7/29/2012. Thank you. Love you, Jah Rastafari.
I'm Bisa, and I met Richard when I was approximately about 9 years old. And the main thing that I can remember about Richard is, you know, at that time I would play with my dad's friends, you know, as a little kid, you know. And one day I ran up to play with Richard, and Richard stopped me, and he looked down at me, and he says, Rodney, I want you to know I don't play with kids. And so I looked at him, and we stood for a minute, and he looked at me, and I understood clearly. From that day on, I never played with Richard. That was Richard. He meant what he said.
Other mic.
My name is Brother Amu. It's a pleasure to be here and to just say that I was fortunate to do several things with Andy, Otis, and Richard. Matter of fact, I would play behind them for a long time, and I felt I learned a great deal from all three. I won't tell you what I learned from Andy and Otis, but from Richard, I've heard it said already about his good humor and everything. He had the ability to explain the wisdom of circumstances of either something that was going on or going to happen or whatever. He could tell it to you in the most simplest, basic terms, and in a way that you could really get with it. So, you know, he taught me a great, great deal. Much love, respect, Kuzan. Love y'all.
Hello, my name is Charles Perkins, and I worked with Richard for a little while back in the 70s in the West of the Watts Prophets. We had a lot of fun together, traveled a lot of places together, and it gave me an opportunity to do something with music that I hadn't had up to then. So usually you take music, and I would hear poets, and they would try to take their poetry and form it to the music. Whatever the music was there, that's the way musicians did poets back in those days. They would play a song, now get with this. And I was able to listen to Richard, Brother Amdi, Brother Otis, and hear their rhythms and take music and form it around them. So it gave them a lot more freedom, and it taught me some things about music. It taught me some things about my own poetry, because I'm a poet also. And that experience was really great for me. And I hope it was great for them, because we had a good time together. And one last thing I'd like to say, you know, our people's journey has been long, so long from then to now. Our people's journey has been long, but then again, somehow through all the pain and suffering, our people did survive. Through the long and bitter struggle, the spirit never died. And Richard was part of that spirit that never dies and will never die, the spirit of blackness. Thank you.
Well, when I think of Richard, I think of a brother who is somewhat, I'm not going to say sarcastic, that's not the word. The word is irreverent. Right. I could just as well say revolutionary also. But this is a little piece that I want to read in the spirit of Richard. It's a piece about religion. It says, grooving in Eden was mellow, but it was never intended to last. God expected man to ignore his #1 instruction and get evicted from paradise. Because he made man to be powerfully influenced by Eve, incredibly nice to behold. She was irresistible to a guy going in the direction of his first erection. God made it so that his nuts impelled him to rush upon her as an eagle returning to its nest. He was given no choice in the matter. His eyes were the slaves of his instincts. Wherever she went, his gaze marched after her. He never knew what hit him. All he recalled was God knocking him out cold. And when he woke up, there was Eve, staring before him, making his imagination venture to places no man had gone before.
AKA Hyacinth, which is the name that I was given by Richard.
It's like, why did you give me that name? Because you're like Hyacinth, who's a character on a PBS show. Anyway, I met Richard when I originally moved to California, which was 30-something years ago. He was in the first group of people I met, and we've been friends ever since. Great guy, wonderful family, and we love you, Richard. And I think this is just a great celebration of his life. Thank you.
Greetings, everyone. One of my pen names is Houston Blue, and I had the pleasure of meeting the Watts Prophets in 1991. Kenneth Sevron introduced me at Cabasa House, and one of them gave me Rap in Black. And I'm going to tell you something, you know. The Watts Prophets are so amazing, and they are such a blessing to the world. I was so privileged as a writer at that time. I was on my way to work on a master's in third world literature, post-colonial voice, and when I heard them, and also Wanda Coleman and all these writers from the Watts Writers Workshop, Eric Priestley, Rosso Jenkins, I knew that I was blessed. So I just want to say I love you all so much. I admire you. Your work is going around the world forever, and whatever I can do in the classroom to make sure they know about it, I will do. I respect you so much. Thank you very much.
This is Sharon. I first met Richard maybe about 32 years ago. The name he had for me was Juicy, and not for the reason you think. Okay? I was his secretary. Richard, my cousin Paris Earl, the late Paris Earl, and we worked at the Sons of Watts, and I was their secretary. Richard had the wrong idea what secretary was about. He called me every morning and he'd say, I'm on my way, have my coffee ready. And make sure it's hot. I like it so hot it make my lip curl, okay? He'd get there and he'd have all his pencils and his pads and everything. Come on, let's go. We're supposed to be doing things to arrange for a chalk-in in Watts, where we lived. We never got anything done. I think we got fired. We didn't even know it. Okay? But we would get in the car, driven by my cousin Paris, and we would drive around, and we end up nowhere but at the fish market. We'd get 2 pounds of fish, we'd go back to my house and do the things that Richard and Paris like to do, you know, and eat fish, drink coffee, and the day was over. That was it. But he taught me a lot. He taught me how to be myself and not worry about what other people think. He taught me to just put it on the table. It is what it is. He said, Juicy, you know what's wrong with you? Why everybody look at you and don't have time? Because don't nobody know what you saying. Just say it. That's how he used to talk to me. Just, Richard, just say it. Okay, so I'm just going to say it. Richard was ready. He lived a great life. He touched all of us. And I'll never forget it. He'll always be my brother in my heart.
This is an inspiring day, truly. And, I wasn't going to come up here and say something, but this poem that I wrote around the time when I first met Father Amde and Otis and Richard, close to about 30 years ago. And I thought to myself, and I've been thinking, and especially after I heard Jenkins' poem, I said to myself, this poem, it's about people who tell the truth. And who tell the truth directly, which is what Richard did. So this is for Richard, certainly. It's a good day for a crucifixion. I heard the centurion say, sunny and pleasant like a dream, makes the act unexpected today, and gives the people entertainment, and shows them our powers to fear. Yes, a good day to hang this fool king up. And tonight, well, it's dice, women, and beer. A good day for a crucifixion. I smiled to myself. I wish the pain could be done with, but I guess that can't be helped. If there were an easier way to make a point, I'm sure it would be tried. But life takes pains to teach its ways, or else they'd say I lied. It's a good day for a resurrection. The sun's rising behind the gray. Days that change myth to reality always come this way, without a hint or a breath of surprise, like a thief in the night, as I've said before. Hordes of attention would call it a trick, an event overblown by a vain crowd's roar. But nature keeps its secrets, except from just those few who take the time to realize they're part of nature too. And those that say they saw this happen will slowly come to understand the things I said before I left are both for woman and for man.
If you move around in this community, you've seen these two people working together as a team. And they have come in the tradition of the Watts Writers Workshop in their workshop that they have here. So I hope that if you get a chance to visit their workshop or get some of their work, that you do that. And Otis, do you have anything?
Yeah, what I would like to say is they're keeping the arts alive in our community. When a lot of the writers' workshops have faded, they are still there, and they are a strong force in the community. They're exposing young poets to the arts. They have classes. They have all types of things that relates to the community. And as I always say, they're good at what they do. They really are. And I think they are so good at it because they love it. They sincerely and truly care about what it is that they're doing. I talked to them last night. They was up probably most of the night, finalizing, because they truly care. And so we would just like for you, everybody, to give them a nice
They're not just doing this for us, they do it for a lot of people in this community.
So of course, Richard taught us to write about what goes on in our community, write about what's happening, And what Richard's granddaughter said goes right in alignment with what I wrote. So I know that our families are definitely tuned in and very well connected. So somewhere today, a tree is smiling and mourning, confused by its feelings. I lived for his story. I died for his story. I was born again by and because of his story. He is hero, truth and certainty and strength in pain. Until pain fought back the man, we get weary. Tired of battling for what is ours and fighting against what is not ours. Land, lies, cancer, and trees. The trees, they have become us. I leave my legacy tucked between pages, edible. Smell them. Elaborate on the moments of eternity. I am live forever. Ask the tree. Delete me from computer screens. Who cares? I have already written my own eulogy. Watts light speed through the bayous of New Orleans. Leave me alone to branch out. Joy comes in the morning. I wake up with joy in my spirit, sing you out of your mourning. I am free, Richard says, I am free. Somewhere today, a tree is smiling, no longer confused about its feelings, certain that it has served its purpose.
That it has served its purpose. Richard Dedeaux, Dedeaux, hero. We so blessed to have known Baba Dedeaux. From New Orleans to Watts, we watched gumbo and barbecue mixed into a cool, smooth, unapologetic Watts legend. A man land without measure, Los Angeles treasure, Louisiana, New Orleans, hot pepper, dashed over Jordan Junior High School in the 1950s. Brewing in the East Side Watch Writers Workshop crock pot in the 1960s, where he mixed these verbs, adjectives, and soliloquies into a tapestry of creativity, voices on the streets of Watts, a rising sun, hero. We so blessed to have known Dedeaux. 1970s had him rapping black in a white world. Rapping black in a white world. And in the words of Red Fox, if you catch him with a girl, he's holding her for the police. Rich is a cold piece of black arts history. Power to the people, people power, standing the test of antiquity. Louisiana Bayou, boy. If you don't pay attention to what he says, it'll go by you, boy. Mudtown, Jordan Downs' team. Haitian revolution pulsates his genes. God's DNA, divine fingerprints, printing sacred scrolls in Congo Square, making magic between jive and rate. Drum circle in his chest, Yemiya Obatala, Django quest through triple light. Here and there at once, Richard Dedeaux is out of sight. Griot, Taijeti, scribe of the Most High. Sacred words speaking truth to power from the curves to the suburbs. And when the 90s came, Richard did not miss a beat. Voices for the voiceless, ambassador for the streets. Haru, hero. We so blessed to have known Richard Dedeaux. We so blessed to have known Richard Dedeaux, because that'll be us someday.
See, that'll be us someday. Reminiscing about today so that we'll never forget how we got to this place. Some of us are shooting off the earth, but know that we'll at least hit a star. Others won't even try so hard and ignore the fact that the truth is but a phone call away. See, the torch will be passed down from generation to generation. And taking the word of someone else is not the mentality that got us off the plantation. Some of us will burn by the fire because we are too lazy. Others will catch the flame, while most of us will run with the torch while thanking the universe for the opportunity to yell out names like the Watts Prophets, the Last Poets, O.G. Shaka, Sonia Sanchez, Willie Ricks Mukasa, Chairman Fred, and O.G. Shaka. And because we now hold the torch, we yell out our names, because our stories will be read as long as we keep the people fed. So I yell out Socks and Artist Mansoir, A.K. Tony and Food for Thought, Nikki Scott, Jahaza and Nabu, Siddiqui Bakari, Lorenzo and Yao Watts, as we soar on the wings of Ma'at, transcending dimensions through silence. Now feel me speaking metaphysically like Marcus through Julius Gardner, or like that eye contact that your mama used to give instead of saying, I'ma tap that black if you touch that. We no longer prove ourselves, we remember self. While becoming the art that imitates life, or simply being the artist that is life. And if what Dr. Ben said is true, and heaven is between a black woman's legs, then let me be Goddess Duke so that our Geb is well protected. And because he feeds, we keep them well fed. Although much is to be said about what is to be expected, we must learn the rules first. Before we can justify breaking them. And because that Richard Dedeaux will be us someday, we must look back with no regrets today.
Look back, look back, look back, look back with no regrets, today. So before we bring the marvelous Wadada up here to close us out, and I hope y'all know how to do the second line dance, New Orleans style, because that's what we're about to do to just be real festive in this celebration. So before we do that, I just need y'all to listen to me 1 second as he break it down right here. Juan, break it down for me. Richard is old school, like 5 on the black hand side. Richard be throwback like 45s and 8 tracks. They done played them on jukeboxes at juke joints where the old timers chew snuff, shot pool and stayed on point like a pair of Stacy's, peeping out the bottom of some bell bottoms. Richard often poly with Esther, with his bebop tilted. George Clinton, Ojinky, the Watts Writers Workshop, Eric Priestley kept him lifted. Richard so gifted with his gift of gab that he must use to uplift and inspire. Richard B. Earth, Wind, and Fire, wrapped in a kente cloth, tap dancing his shell toes to the rhythm of his soul. Richard crocheted his flow so that he reap what he sowed. He gets deep with these sea scrolls that he delivered from the inside of a Watts Peachy folder. Who remember the Peachy folders? Richard B old school like 5 on the black hand side. Richard B throw back like 45s and 8-tracks. And if so ever you looking for Richard, find him between ethers and eons. He'll be Porto hopscotching with high priests and dogons, spewing the east side swanglish in New Orleans metal netta, meditating shaman life, creating tsunami weather in the cosmos. Do you see Richard? Do you see him spinning backwards inside of a Watts Eastern wind, defending unborn victims of violent crime, Somerset families back to tribe, tribes back to village, aligning a pilgrimage to self-discovery. Blessings are your words whenever discussing Richard, because he spoke the truth. Find him in God's DNA. Shaman lineage, practicing New Orleans voodoo for the ages. Richard legacy, tucked between pages of books too wide to look inside. But keep looking. Open Richard's story. Read him immortal. Scribed in metal netta. Young welders of broken spirits. Richard would want everybody in here to use your words to shape this generation till they wake. Richard would want you to use your words to shape this generation till they wake. Richard would want us all to shape this generation till they wake. I'm full for thought. This is Saj. Thank you.
So Brenda, you gonna lead us into the second long dance?
Oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, when the saints go marching in. I want to be in that number. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Go marching. I want to be in that number. Oh, when the saints go marching. I want to be in that number. when the saints go marching. March, march, march back down. We wanna march, march, march back down to the ground. I never did the circle of town. We wanna march, 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 march back down. We wanna march, march, march back down. We wanna march, 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 march. Oh, 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 somebody scream! We love you, Richard. When the saints go marching in, oh, when the saints go marching in, I want to be in that number. Oh, when the saints go marching, I knew that you was an angel. Oh, when you was alive, yeah. I knew you was an angel in the skies, walking around here with us, telling us all these words of wisdom. I got to say, angel in the sky. Oh, when the saints go marching in, oh, when the saints go marching in, I want to be in that number. Oh, when the saints go marching in, and if the sun refuses to shine, if the sun refuses to shine, and if the sun refuses to shine, I want to be in that number. If the saints go marching in, oh, when the saints go marching in, go marching in, go marching in, oh, when the saints go marching in, I want to be in that number. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Right now, New Orleans gonna celebrate your brother's life. I said that he was an angel in disguise. Celebrate it all night. I said we're gonna celebrate the brother. You're gonna give thanks and praise. Oh, when the saints go marching in, oh, when the saints go marching in, I want to be in the number. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Everybody wanna see what they myself some. Heal up the nation right now, man. Wine to the left and the right, man. Say, brother, heal up the nation and the devil on the right, man. Yes, all I say. Here's what Richard's got to say. Oh, if the sun refuse to shine, Richard say, and if the sun refuse to shine, he's gonna be in that number. Oh, if the sun go marching, come on now, come on. Oh, when the saints go marching in, go marching in, go marching in. Oh, when the saints go marching in, I want to be in that number. The saints go marching. Refuse to shine. Oh, if the sun refuse to shine, we are gonna be in that number. When the saints go marching in, oh, when the saints go marching in, oh, when the saints go marching in, I want to be in that. Thank you, thank you. Oh, when the saints go marching in, oh, when the saints go marching in, go marching in. Oh, when the saints go marching in, I want to be in that number. every